Hey there, Shalligators. Guess who just ruined my Friday night? Kim Kardashian, inconsiderate ass Pete Davidson. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna ruin Shallon Lester's night. Damn it, Pete. Yes, Kim and Pete have broken up after 9 months of dating. I saw this coming, but I also didn't. Okay, there's not a ton of detail at the moment, but the sources, aka probably the Kardashians, are saying the usual celebrity bullshit of their schedule. I just got my work. And, oh, they're committed to being friends. They're just gonna be friends. Who in the hell are you trying to fool? I'm gonna break down what very possibly could be going on, but we're also going to talk about, sure, let's pretend it's schedules, because hey, that really does impact us in the real world. It's hard for me to believe the woman with a $70 million jet can't fit her boyfriend into her schedule. Seems kind of like if she can't, what the fuck hope do the rest of us have? But you know what hope the rest of us have? Me, Shallon Lester. I'm going to tell you how to deal with the long distance relationship, if they're worth it. And yeah, we're gonna keep doing videos on Kim and Pete as details emerge. I mean, just as my career progresses, because of course I talk about Kim all the time. But before we get started, who wants to talk about blowjobs? It's a Friday night. Isn't that what we should all be out doing? Well, not me. I'm talking about fucking Kim and Pete. But our Alpha Academy episode on blowjobs is live and available to watch on replay. Ditto with the Pillow Talk after party, where I answered, I think it was 20 or 30 of y'all's questions live about all things blow and a whole bunch of other stuff. So you can watch this. You can buy tickets retroactively for this episode and watch it until next Thursday, when our final episode is going to premiere about sex. We're going to talk about having orgasms, being on top, what to do with your hands, how much noise to make, what to say, all sorts of things. Basically, how to have sex. So if you're a beginner, this is going to be great for you. But if you're a little high level girl, you know I am. You know I'm a little spicy. So I'm going to give you some new tips and tricks that maybe you haven't thought of. And you guys, I'm thinking about adding a bonus episode. On how to be sexy and sexual and kind of cultivate that in yourself. Because look, we could learn tricks all day and all night. If we don't feel sexy and if we don't know how to kind of inhabit that persona and create a sexy, sensual life, what good is it gonna do? So go ahead and buy tickets to that, and I might have a great announcement about the bonus episode come Monday. Give me a few days to put it all together, but you know I got you guys. I can't leave you high and dry. Look at my hair. Look at this. Listen. Oh, it's completely vertical. Oh, it's Friday night. I was gonna have a really fun night. I was gonna have a date. I wasn't gonna have a date per se, but I was gonna do something fun. I was. You can't prove that I wasn't. You can't prove that. Call the cops. I don't give a fuck. But now here I am, instead, ruining my very full life, very, very full, talking about Kim and Pete. Okay, so like I said, I don't know if you saw on my Instagram, I posted literally this afternoon, I was talking to my friend about how we were talking about Kim and Pete. So sad that I talk about this in my off hours, but I'm people think they're such goals, but he's got borderline personality disorder and they shift. They're incredibly charming, incredibly magnetic, and then there is a shift and things go so very bad. Now listen. Whenever I talk about Pete Davidson and his borderline personality disorder, I get people who have borderline screaming at me in the comments. I mean, all caps, just foaming at the mouth. We are not hard to date. Don't make us feel crazy. I don't know that I need to. I think you're doing an excellent job on your own. I'm not here to shit all over people with borderline, because it's not your fault you have it. It was something that happened to you when you were a kid, and that's not fair. It isn't. What I do like to shit on is people who don't want to do anything about it. People who don't feel the need to do therapy or even really take responsibility for hey, maybe this thing is having negative outcomes in my life. I don't really have any respect for people like that. And it's not a borderline thing. It's a people thing. I don't respect people who don't want to be better, who live the unexamined life. I don't even know why they're on this channel. It's bizarre to me. I don't think people who have borderline are undeserving of love or unworthy or any of that, but I do think it's something that needs to be ameliorated with a lot of therapy. And if you're not willing to do that, then no, I'm not going to come here and like coddle you and pretend that everything's fine, because you're being really difficult to people in your life. And I'm sure you're ending up very unhappy. So just get some therapy. And if you are doing therapy, okay, great. That's great. Then why are you pressed that I'm talking about the sector of that population that doesn't do therapy? Because that's not you. So why does it bother you so much? I guess the equivalent is like people calling white women Karens. I'm a white woman and I live in a small town, you know, and yet I don't call the manager. I mean, if there's cilantro in my food and I specifically ask for there not to be, I might. But I don't like go on like racial tirades at Panda Express. Like I don't do that. And so I don't have any particular feeling about calling out people who do, because just because we happen to look the same or fall under the same category, we are not the same. So it doesn't like bug me. So I don't know if me talking about borderline in a negative way bothers you. Maybe it's because you're not doing anything to ameliorate it. All right. So maybe try that, and then you won't feel some type of way about a random YouTuber who you've never met and probably won't meet not wanting to date you. Why does it bother you so much? So let's talk about this. Okay, so I was actually talking about this a lot this weekend when I was in Scottsdale with my friends because, and I mentioned her on our episode of the podcast, Girl on Top, that's out this week. My friend is becoming a therapist. She's a psychologist. And we were talking about Kim and Pete, and she's like, yeah, like because I said, I bet he's going to shift soon. She's like, I think he will. Like his relationships just don't last that long. Like he proposed to Ariana Grande after 2 weeks. He gets tattoos, multiple tattoos for every single woman he dates. When he was dating Kaya Gerber, Randy Gerber and Cindy Crawford, her parents, had to like intervene and split them up. That is significant because Cindy Crawford and Randy Gerber are like, I don't want to say they're bad parents, but they're, I mean, there's a reason Presley like flipped the fuck out the way he did. And the reason Kaya is so skinny, we had heard when I was working at Star, there were so many sources, and I saw who the sources were. Cause like as an editor, you see the source and you don't print it, but you see it because you have to verify that it's not just like some asshole making something up, that like they would restrict the kids' calories and like just kind of give him an eating disorder. Like your value is how you look. Your value is how you look. And so people like that who don't, I don't know even how to say this except in just the rudest of ways, which I don't feel like being rude tonight, which is not like me. Maybe I'm ovulating or something. It's making me really nice. But even they were like, you better get the fuck away from our kids. Like they got real mama and papa bear when Pete was dating Kaya. Like they did not want anything to do with that. So he doesn't have a great reputation, and yet the stories that seem to make the news are, he's so sweet and he's so charming, he's so genuine. He probably is. People with borderline, like I said, they're magnetic. But there is a shift that occurs. And so borderline is characterized by a fear, like an intense, overwhelming fear of abandonment. And ironically, people who have this, they end up creating that outcome by doing things like splitting, as my therapist explained it to me. And some of you guys say, no, splitting means something else. But this is what my doctor tells me, that it's like they will create problems so that they can run in and be the savior. They'll create problems so that they can fix it and thereby demonstrate value in the life of the person they want to attach themselves to. But it really creates a headache. And, it's at a certain point, it's repellent, and a lot of people with borderline, they, like I said, they create the outcome they're so afraid of. And it's really heartbreaking, to create what you fear the most over and over again. But therapy will help you, especially cognitive behavioral therapy. So Pete has never struck me as a stable person. Look at his skin. Look at the things he put on his body, that he continues to put on his body. And even though he's getting some of his tattoos removed, he's still adding ones with like seemingly no more forethought than the ones he's erasing. Like, didn't he get all of Kim's kids' initials on his fucking neck? That's weird. That's weird. Okay? So he can erase. It's like, is he just erasing to make more canvas space? And he's just going to start over. Wow, I saw a seagull today. And it was, he was eating fries. Right, I was eating fries, so I'm like, I'm gonna get a seagull because I like fries. Where are we going with this, Pete? So I'm not surprised that this eventually hit a wall. And it seemed to have hit a wall when he headed to Australia to film a movie called Wizards, like with an exclamation point, Wizards. I don't know what it's about, but I'm not going to see it, exclamation point. And you know, that's a hell of a distance. Los Angeles to Australia, not easy. And so I wonder if the distance kicked in his fear of abandonment. Who knows? Maybe he was on the phone. I'm going to kill myself. Gee, who did that recently? Oh, his best friend, Machine Gun Kelly. Are they two peas in a pod? I don't know. Who knows what happened? I have a feeling we're going to hear some things coming out. Maybe not, though. Maybe it's all going to be couched in this, like, they've decided to remain friends. But I am sad. I told you guys, like, this relationship did win me over. I mean, against my better judgment, against Pete's instability and general bodega-ness, Kim just seemed so happy. And I was so happy for her because her marriage to Kanye West seemed like a horrible beige-colored spandex prison sentence. Just seemed so exhausting, and emotionally lonely, you know? Oh God. So I was just so happy that she seemed to be like, live, laugh, loving, you know, flim, flam, fucking. And not that I thought they were going to get married, and God knows I don't think that they should or like have a kid. And I really was worried like that was the next thing. It's like, they've decided to get a surrogate. Like, please do not do that. Please don't do this. Don't do this to me. But he was talking recently in an interview that he wants to have a kid. Maybe Kim was like, I'm not having any more. I mean, ostensibly, I think she said she's completely done, but people change their minds. Okay. But maybe that was part of this, like, maybe that was part of the shift that, like, wait a minute. I thought this was something like fun. We were on the same page about stuff. And now you're talking in the press about marriage and kids. And that's not where I'm at. Like, is she even divorced? I don't even think she's divorced. So maybe there could be a lot underneath the surface, and there usually is in relationships. But yeah, I'm sad for her. She just seemed, it like put a spring back in her step. And I think we all like to see that because it gives all of us hope. Hope springs eternal. That no matter how bad a breakup is or how much time a relationship stole from you, there are still good times to be had. And there's new guys to meet and better dick to have. And even if it's attached to a dude with horrible tattoos, including my name, Shallon. I am named after the Shaolin monks of China. I don't know if you know that, but my parents were Buddhist. That's literally the etymology of my name. I wish they'd spelled it like that. Or even better, Xiolin. How sick would that be? How sick would that be if I was like a white blonde chick with a Chinese ass name? That's so cool. Damn it. And I can't change it now. Damn it. Okay, anyway. Let's talk about the different excuses that this could have been. Because we're hearing a few things. They've decided to be friends. Oh, have they? The only kind of relationship I can see where you both just decide to be bros is an extremely long-term one where you're basically roommates in the same house. I mean, typically you live together. The passion has long since gone. It's been replaced with like soccer schedules and vet visits and dentist appointments, just the banality of daily life, that you're like, hey, we're besties. We're not smashing anymore. And so let's just go find people to smash who make us happy. Even then, that's a tough shift. There's almost always one party who's like, no, I'm not letting this go. Like, I can't move on. So I have trouble believing that these two are like, you know what? We're just broing out. After 9 months? No. When they've been so lovey-dovey and so intense, and he, as we know, has a personality disorder that, amplifies intensity, I don't think that that's true. So nice fucking try. What I could believe, I guess, is the scheduling thing. Let us read. So Pete's 28, Kim's 41. Pete has spent months filming his upcoming movie, Wizards, in Australia, where Kim visited him in July for a romantic getaway. News of their split, this is from the Daily Mail, comes a day after source told People that the long distance hasn't been easy for Kim, as Pete continued to shoot Wizards abroad. An insider has now explained to E! News they have a lot of love and respect for each other, but found that the long distance and their demanding schedules really made it difficult to maintain a relationship. I get that. That actually does make sense to me, especially because they've only been together 9 months. Because what do you still want to be doing at 9 months? Fucking, that's right. Like, you're not sick of someone, especially when she spent, I would guess, she was married for 11 years. So I would guess, I don't know, 10 years and 9 months not having sex. You know, like, this was probably an incredibly refreshing relationship for her. And to suddenly have that person literally on the other side of the world, and you're like, I'm so sorry, where is the wiener I was promised? That's really tough. That's really tough. And yeah, she's got a $70 million plane, and ostensibly, you know, we think if Kim Kardashian can't do whatever she wants, who can? She's also got 4 kids, and she's remained co-parenting with Kanye. I would not leave my kids there. Talk about unstable, my God. So I don't know how much she can be away from the kids. Like, are you going to fly for 48 hours to be there for 24 and then fly back? I mean, that is rough. So long distance, let's talk about long distance, because a lot of you guys are graduating or going off to college, or somebody's moving. I know a lot of you guys are in a real big state of flux. And even if you're not, like, this is just some good info to have in your back pocket. Long distance is hard as shit. It is hard as shit for a few reasons. First of all, men, their love language overwhelmingly is physical touch. It is. It's physical touch. So, they're just so visual. They're so tactile. They need the day-to-day reassurance of their woman right here with them. Like, right here with them. And I will tell you, long distance is almost impossible to get off the ground right out of the gate. Like, if you meet someone and they're in a different city, and this is the important part. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, well, she goes to Auburn and I go to Colgate, and like, but she's graduating in 6 months. And then, you know, we're going to figure it out. Or like, well, we both have a job in Chicago after grad school. So, okay, we're both going to be there. Or like, he's getting out of the military and he's moving back to our hometown. If people have a finite amount of time, they can break it down into manageable pieces and they can deal with it. If it's just, what happened here? My microphone. I'm sorry. Look at this. We're all behind the scenes. Oh, by the way, don't forget you guys can shop my merch. Rich and Sad is like my favorite piece that I've done, even though it's like no real design at all. But we have a Rich and Sad update coming out, I think in a week or two. I really love the new design, so get excited. How did I even have the camera? I'm so sorry. I'm a mess. My Friday is ruined. I was supposed to have a date, maybe. Anyway, if there is long distance and there's no end in sight, I mean, very few people are going to sign up for that. How do we know this? Vacation Bay. A vacation bay. Almost every time I travel, I meet someone. I do. Maybe I'm just like my best self when I'm traveling. I know that I am. One time I was in Mexico and I met this boy, and oh my God, he was the cutest thing in the world. And we had like an epic 3 days. Like, it was with all the intensity and amazingness that you have with a vacation bay. And he's like, I could literally marry you. Like, I'm never going to find a woman like you. I'm like, that's true. I'm sorry. I hate to break. That is true. I hear that a lot. And I mean, it was just so intense. And he was like, so like in love with me, you know, for lack of a better word. And we were like so in love with each other. He got on a plane. I literally never heard from him again. I mean, we texted a little bit, but it was like the driest conversation you could possibly imagine. He lived in North Dakota. I lived in New York City. And at the time, like, no one was moving. So maybe we could have like visited each other. I was like, oh, I can come out there. Could he have come to New York like for what, 2 more days? And then we're right back at square one, like missing each other. Because he didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel, he put me in what I have called with my friends jar mode. You're in a jar. And that jar is labeled amazing, fun, sexy, wonderful, but not really viable. And that jar goes on a little shelf. And that's where we stay. And we're like, hello, I'm in the jar. Do you miss me? And they're like, I can't hear you. You're in a jar. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Because it's not viable in their mind. And this is, I mean, it sucks. It fucking sucks because women look for entrances and men look for exits. It's not like we're desperate or anything like that, but it's just we are so much more willing to make room in our life for love than men seem to be. Like if they deemed it like a closed thing, then that's what it is. Oh, it sucks. But like they don't even let themselves get to the level of like, I'm heartbroken about this. It's like a foregone conclusion. There's an expiration date. And they're like, well, that just is what it is, you know? It's rough. It's really rough. So if you're looking at starting a relationship that's long distance, 9 times out of 10, that is not going to work. It's not. Of course, there are exceptions. There are. I knew a girl. It was like a friend of a friend. She was in New Zealand with her friend, just like, they were like bopping around traveling, and she gets on Tinder. She's like, I just want to see what the talent is out there. Connects with this dude. They have a one-night stand. She lived in like London. He moved there. They're married. They have a child. Like, and he was like a hedge funder. Like he wasn't like a scrub. Like, and neither was she. She was a very high level person. Like this wasn't like 90 Day Fiance where it's like, I love you. I need a visa to get out of here. Like they really had careers and they got married. You never know, but like I say, assume you're the rule and not the exception to the rule. Can you eat whatever you want? Me neither. Me neither. Some people genuinely can and they don't gain weight. Don't assume you're that person and go through like 10 orders of queso in a weekend. Don't do that. Because if you're wrong, you are fucked, right? Like that's really bad. So assume that you're the rule and not the exception, and assume that relationships are kind of going to go that way. And if they don't, hey, amazing. You know, that's great, but save yourself a little heartbreak and some energy. So how do you make a long distance relationship work? Say that you're in one, right? Someone's going away to college, someone's graduating and moving for a job, or, you know, life is just pulling you into different places. How do you sustain this? Well, like I said, first and foremost, see if you can develop a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, like he's graduating a year later and then you're both going to move to Miami. Like really try to come up with a plan, because think about it. If this person is your forever, you're going to need to come up with this plan eventually. You're going to need to integrate your lives at some point, right? And be real with yourself, girl. If this person is not your forever, maybe cut your losses. It's really great to have a natural break to something. And I know it doesn't feel great. You know what it feels like? It feels like Romeo and Juliet. I know. It feels tragic when circumstances pull you apart. I mean, it's wrenching and unbearable. I know, I've been there. And there's almost no pain that's quite like it. Because you think like, I found this person, I love this person, and it's like logistics. Some of the best dating advice I've ever received, and I've told you guys this, you can't just fall in love with the person, you have to fall in love with their circumstances also. And it's rough, but it's also true. So try to find that light at the end of the tunnel. Try to make those plans. And if you can't, or if that's just not feasible for whatever reason, okay, make the micro plans. If you can't make the macro plan, we're both going to live in Minneapolis together, we're both going to go to this college, whatever, then try to make the micro plans. Always have another trip on the books when you wrap up one, okay? That's like always going to make your heart feel better, because there's nothing worse than, again, that open-ended question mark of when am I going to see this person again? Make a schedule. Every other weekend we visit each other. First weekend of the month, we FaceTime, or whatever it is. You know, that's not very often the FaceTime. But make some parameters and make some rules, because humans are rule-based. We actually, most of us are very, very low, what they call chaos tolerance. And what is less chaotic than a nice old calendar? A nice cal invite, right? Have some plans, have some set schedules, because this is also going to give you some data. If you're trying to make a long distance relationship work and you're like, okay, I'm going to visit you, for Labor Day, and then 2 weeks later, I want you to come visit me. And he's like, what? Yeah, I gotta see where finals are at and if it's like rush and everything. If he's making excuses and if he's not matching your efforts, you need to see that. Okay. But if you're taking it day by day, you might not be able to get that data because, hey, we're all just flying by the seat of our pants. I will tell you, if you're going away to college and you're going to separate colleges, please just break up. I know you don't want to hear this. But listen, I know so many people who went to college with a boyfriend and they didn't go to the same school. Every single one of them were like, it ruined my college experience. It ruined it. It ruined my entire freshman year, plus my sophomore year. Ooh, that's thunder. No, it's a stupid fucking truck. No, it's thunder. You never can tell out here. They're like, it ruined so much. And even if they ended up with this person, which I've got to be honest with you, most of them didn't. But even if they ended up with them, they're like, I wish I had just taken that time for myself. I really wish I had had that experience without it being colored by like, I got to get back to the dorm and I got to call Jeff and I got to FaceTime and I got to go. No, I can't go to the football game. I got to go visit him. Ugh. Because look, like at the time, this is what one of my friends said to me. She's like, I didn't want to be brokenhearted going into freshman year. But ironically, I was so much more brokenhearted having a long distance boyfriend. It was so hard for me to make friends because I didn't really need to because I had him to run home to. And then God forbid he didn't answer the FaceTime. Who are you out fucking and who are you with? Ah! It was like we became the worst versions of ourselves. And I wish we had just had the guts and the maturity to be like, I'll see you next summer and we'll see where we stand. I wish I had the faith in our love to be like, I will still love him and he will absolutely still love me in 12 months. And also the faith that like, okay, well, if that isn't how it plays out, that means it's this or it's better. That means I found something or someone better. And maybe that thing I found was simply being single and being on my own and enjoying myself. But I didn't have the guts to say that. I was scared. And so I was clinging on to him like this emotional support animal, going away to a new scary environment, and it really bit me in the ass. And I really, really regret it. That's rough. That's really, really rough. And I think if you can call the ball, call time of death on something, or not call time of death, call a coma, and just put a pin in something for 6 months. Hey, you know what? Let's reconvene at Christmas and really make the commitment not to talk to each other. And look at me. I mean this. Look at me. I mean this. When I say you don't talk, I mean you don't talk. There's no drunken texts. There's no slutty Snapchats. There's no subtweets. There's no nothing. You ice it out. Why? Because if you don't, then it's the shred. Oof. Breaking up, ironically, is not the thing that keeps people from ever getting back together. It's the not quite breaking up. It's the shred. It's, well, we broke up, but I'm going to go back home. We're both back home this weekend, so we're going to hook up, and then we're going to cry in his truck, and then we're going to go back to school, and she's going to think we're getting back together, and she's going to FaceTime me, and then I don't answer, and she's screaming in my DMs. It's when that shredding happens and you're pulling things apart, and you know what enters into those little spaces? Resentment. Resentment, distrust, jealousy, and bitterness. And then character assassinations and words you can't take back. That's what keeps you from getting back together. Like I said, I've been talking to an ex, and we have had a lot of water under the bridge. Like, the fights we would get into. And I even said to him the other day, I'm like, you literally remember every single mean thing I've ever said. He's like, yeah, that's because it meant something. And he had said to me before, he's like, the things that you said to me in like the heat of battle were the meanest things anybody has ever said to me. And I was like, I know, I was trying to make them the meanest things you've ever heard. I was mad. I was hurt. My heart was broken and I wanted to break your heart. I wanted to break you completely. Like I was just going for blood, you know? And we didn't talk for like a year because we were both just in this standoff with each other, thinking the other person hated each other. And it was just, I wish we had just had the guts to be like, we just need to not talk until we're in a better place. But we didn't. This is a recent person. I wasn't 18. This was like last summer, okay? We had this horrible knockdown, drag out thing in January. Like, this shit was recent. So I'm saying this because it's not like you just outgrow it. If you don't learn these lessons and take actionable steps to not do this, you will keep on doing it. And it's tough to stand up for someone to be the hero and be like, I am actually going to walk away from you because I do love you. And because I want this to have a shot, but I also understand that the timing is not okay. And you know, I was talking about this in therapy. No, I was actually talking about it on the Shallon Entourage Telegram chat. You know, if you sign up for my text service, you get access to the Telegram chat. And I sent out a special video just for you guys crying over a boy and talking about how I have this belief that if I'm worthy enough, you're just going to plow through circumstances, that circumstances and most importantly, timing just doesn't matter. It stems from my father, daddy issues. Because, you know, I have this belief that like, well, you could make the timing right. You could make yourself ready. You could make yourself sober or mature or over the X or whatever it might be. Fill in the blank. If you loved me enough, you just do it. And look, that's true for some things. Like if you care about someone, you are going to meet them after work. Like you are going to rearrange your schedule and you are maybe going to miss another football game. You are. But when it comes to emotions and certainly circumstance, that isn't always possible. That's not always the case with timing. And that's what's so tragic about it. Is that it isn't a matter of, well, if you loved me enough, the timing would be perfect. It's really horrible to think that there's factors outside of our control, both of our controls, you know? And again, that's when it starts to feel like this Greek tragedy. It feels Romeo and Julietian. It's rough. But the workaround is to stop fucking fighting it, dude. Stop fighting it. And this is like literally what I was crying about in the video, because it's like, for once in my life, I did stop fighting it. And I was like, okay, the timing's not right. The timing's not right. I'm walking away from this other person who I cared a lot about. But I'm like, I'm not sitting here trying to change me into not being ready or this timing. I'm just accepting it. And I'm removing myself, and maybe the timing will work itself out. Maybe not. This or better. This or better. So if you can really dig deep for that maturity, because I know this isn't what you feel like too. I get it. Who wants to walk away from someone you love or even like? I know. Who wants to make that investment in the future? It's like opening a 401k. What the hell is this? Who wants to do that? It feels so wrong. But you know what? Doing the right thing usually does. Saving money feels wrong. I want to buy that thing. Give me that tube top. Feels right. Ordering a salad with no bacon or blue cheese crumble. No, thank you. That feels wrong to me. But we do it because we understand outcomes in those categories. So what if we could template that and understand outcomes in these categories? What if we could know, like we know, that we're investing in a better future? The same way we would with money or food. What if we're like, no, I know that this is the painful thing and this is not the fun thing, but this might be the right thing. And maybe, like I said, maybe not with this person, but then that means it'll be with someone better, because at least now I'm making room for that better person to come along. And that means I've got to sit in the suck a little bit, the way it sucks to save money and not go out or go on that girl's weekend, the way it sucks to see that salad coming over to you. You're like, no dressing, no, just a lemon wedge. That's all for me. It sucks. But when you have a goal and you can hold that in the foreground of your mind, it makes it easier. Not easy, not easy. Easier though. And you're brave enough to handle that. You are. Some people aren't. I mean, they're not. We can't save everybody. I say that all the time. But you are. And I think if you can explain it to a dude that way, like, I care about you so much, but our timing is just off. So let's put a pin in this until the end of the semester, until the end of the school year, until the end of law school. Is this going to suck? Yeah. Am I going to find someone better than you? Probably not. But maybe. Don't tell them that. But just, sell it, right? You know what I mean? This or better. So I get what Kim and Pete are going through. And who knows? I could see once he gets back from Australia, they're back together. I mean, unless he goes completely ham and is like, if you can't be with me now, I don't ever want to be with you. If he's engaging in this nihilistic rhetoric that can sometimes be part of that disorder. And doing exactly that, shredding and not employing any bit of maturity and being like, you know what? You're right. We're just going to put a pin in it. I'm down under. Do you guys remember Australia toaster biscuits? Side note, I have to talk about this. Australia toaster biscuits. I like mine with honey. Melted butter. Do you guys remember those? Where are those? Give me them. Okay. Let's see. Any final thoughts on this? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on Kim and Pete. We're going to keep doing videos on this as it develops, but I know that long distance is something that is so hard. If you have been in a long distance relationship or you are in one and it's working, like, how are you doing this? Like, what has worked? And tell me, most importantly, what hasn't? Like, does it work to set a really rigid communication schedule, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, FaceTime, 7 p.m., rain or shine, that's your time together. And on those other days and on those other times, look, if you don't hit me back within 15 minutes, I'm not going to freak out. It's okay because I know that I am a priority in these other ways. Is that good? Is it hard? Like, do you follow each other on Instagram? I know a couple, they're long distance and they won't follow each other because she's like, I don't need to see what he's doing. I don't need to hold it down to pause the story so that I can look at every single human being in the background and ask myself, is he fucking her? Was that the waitress? No. Who's that? Is that the secretary? Who is that? Oh, he's at the DMV. She's like, it was making me crazy. And I'm just like, let's not follow each other. It's making me insane. So does that work? Does it not work? Let me know. And like I said, go ahead and watch the blowjob live stream episode on replay along with the Pillow Talk after party where I answer literally dozens of y'all's questions. You can watch it live until August 11th when we premiere our fourth and final Alpha Academy hookup tutorial on sex. Orgasms, being on top, we're gonna go through it all and also do a Pillow Talk after party where you can ask me questions live. And yeah, stay tuned in the next few days, like I said, for a bonus episode announcement. Let me see if we can put this together. It's gonna be so amazing. And if you missed the first two episodes on kissing and hand jobs, or you maybe aren't going to get a chance to watch the blowjob, if you miss any of them and you want to join the Shallon daily text service, all those girls who are part of that are going to get access to these for free. So if you want to be able to watch these whenever you want, they're going to be archived there. So come join me, come chat with me in the Telegram group, get access to exclusive videos and podcasts and daily inspiration and all sorts of good stuff right over there. We're gonna see you later. Shalligators are gonna be back next time with a video on Stifler's mom, that actress Jennifer Coolidge, and how she said she boned 200 people after that role. How many people is too many to sleep with? And more importantly, what do you say when a guy asks you your number? I'm gonna tell you, because you know guys are asking me. I'll see you later, Shalligators. Have a great weekend.